How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Are we out there? Are we alive? Tally, the first one in the door. How do I look this morning, darling? Egan from Florida. How are you all? Jared Allen. What is up, buddy? How you doing today? All right. Now, if and there's Jennifer over in Periscope land. Jaren, it's good to see you. Egan in Florida. Tally, you're always like the first one in the door. Now, I don't know if that is just operations, but, I'm going to need a producer at some point. I got too many things going on in the morning. I can't put it all together. There's just lots of technology. I don't know if you've figured this out, guys, but I'm not the most technically advanced person in the world. I'm good. I'm fantastic, Jaron. Thank you. I have to make my way through this as I've been talking about this for quite some time. Animal slacking. Well, as a producer role, yes, dramatically. He's more of he's a co-host. He's somebody I bounce ideas off. He's more of an Ed McMahon type figure, right, Animal? Yeah, see? So, Janie, hello to you in Maryland. Right on. Well, everyone's rolling in. Hippie the Hills. Good to see you again. Right on. All right. So, guys, I hope you've been enjoying the topic this week because I want you to use everything that I've been talking about as an opportunity. Hey, hey, Sounder, how you doing? It's good to see you here. Right on. Excited to be working with y'all. RC, how are you doing, buddy? I need to talk to you. I think we have some things to talk about. I hope you're doing well. Wow. There's so many faces here that I have not seen in a while. It's great to see all of you guys. This is what makes it awesome. Welcome, Ola from Portland. Ola from Los Angeles to you. What is that? Beer Danger Baby, I think. Solid. RC, good to know that you're doing well. So, all right, guys. So let's get into it. I'm happy that you're all here. Where's Mr. Charlie? I'm sure he'll be joining us. Sometimes he works late, Tally, but he always catches the replay, and he'll be joining us. So, we're going to go on with some marketing stuff today, and the topic is ecosystems, avatars, and you, and how you play a role in this. Now, remember, I'm not a marketer. However, I have worked with many marketers with the Art of Charm, and I have launched my own marketing campaigns for such products as the Art of Charm stuff. Now, why I am discussing this if I'm not an expert marketer? Well, though I'm not an expert marketer, I am steeped in psychology, and especially the psychology that is in marketing. Hello, Rachel Mona from the UK. But if I'm not an expert, why are we talking about this? Because I find it is pertinent in what is going on today, and I want you to understand how you play a role in it. Because you do have free will, but only to a certain degree. And I want you to be aware of all the influence and persuasion that you're under as you spend more and more time on your devices, which is extremely important. So yesterday I broke down marketing components so that you understand how those things work. Because in the climate that we're in today, yes, and so we can also help ourselves. That's right, Jennifer. Help ourselves and our friends. We want to be able to think clearly. We want to be able to make the right decisions. As I mentioned, this is an election year, and we have lots of political strife going on right now and a lot of squabbling, arguing. Part of that is that there are marketing campaigns that are going on right now for your vote. So that's one thing that I want you to look at. And then plus all the other marketing campaigns and the things that you buy that are lifestyle decisions for you I want you to understand how you've come to those decisions, because an informed public makes a better public. That's why I love self-development. And also, I want you to understand that marketers use certain techniques and campaigns to exploit certain aspects of human nature, that's what persuasion is understanding the human mind, human nature, and then using to exploit that for you to purchase products or commit to a vote or take a vacation, whatever the product might be. That's why we're doing this all today. And so as I went over all the components yesterday, and if you missed yesterday and you want to understand the components of a marketing campaign and how it applies to you, then watch yesterday's video. Everything is recorded. I archive all of these, and they're on YouTube and in the Instagram archives. Speaking of archives, guys, do you know that this is video number 50? I've been doing these every day for months, and we're at 50. Jennifer says, please market a vacation to me. Certainly, absolutely. This is episode 50, guys, and a lot of you have been here through a lot of this, and we have talked about everything that is going on for a very long time. I knew we'd get to 50 at some point. It's just nice that it's here. So if you want to learn all the different marketing components that were like, I used Twitter and Instagram yesterday as examples because I know them well, because that's where I do a lot of our marketing. We have marketing companies for AOC. We're going to be working with a new one that help for larger campaigns that build out ecosystems, which I will explain today. But for my efforts, I've usually only added content to their campaigns as they built everything out, or I made ads for Twitter, I've made ads for Instagram, and I use all the same components. Once you learn how to market on one platform, all you do is transition the same pieces to a different platform. And once you understand all the components, it's fun to see if you can convert a follow or an accept or a friend to a sell. And you do that in multiple places. And also remember, guys, that we're dealing with law of averages. So if you're thinking, well, that won't work on me, there's Charlie, everybody. You guys can give him a welcome. So if you think this won't work on me, that's not how marketing works. I'm not trying to sell directly to you. I'm thinking of law of averages. If I have 1,000 people and I'm able to sell to 10% of them, I've just sold to 10%. If I'm on the internet, I have opened myself up to limitless possibilities and an opportunity to reach 10% of limitless possibilities. Could you imagine the amount of money that is involved? What about if it's a political campaign? Think about the amount of power that's involved. So this is why so much money is spent on these things. Now, let's get into what an ecosystem is, because I want you guys to understand that you all belong to ecosystems. Right now, yes, it's Elvira. I love Elvira. Thank you very much, Charlie. She's one. I've always been obsessed with that sort of imagery and stuff because my birthday's in October. That's why. All right. So ecosystem. All of you belong to multiple ecosystems, and you should understand what an ecosystem is so that you can understand its influence. Right now, you're all in the Art of Charm ecosystem, whether it's Instagram, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's our blog, whether it's in our podcast. And all ecosystems, the more components to that system, the more I have an opportunity to market to you. So if you sign up, if you like our Instagram and you might say, wow, Johnny's quite entertaining. Let's see what he does on Twitter. So then you join and follow me on Twitter. And then you might say, wow, this is quite interesting. I wonder what these guys' podcast is like. And then you download the podcast. So now you're inside of the Art of Charm ecosystem. The Art of Charm is also part of a larger ecosystem, which you could call the self-development space, which means that bouncing around in our ecosystem, you're going to find other ecosystems all under the umbrella of that space, which means you are putting yourself within influence of many different other ecosystems that are under self-development. So you are in control. You have the free will of the influence that you're going to subject yourself to. Now, while you're in our ecosystem, I will run an ad here at the end of the show for the Art of Charm Communication Accelerator, which all of you should get because it's totally awesome. It's in our link tree in the bio of Twitter and Instagram. But that's one pitch. And if you like what I say and you enjoy the show, you might check something like that out. And then I would pitch it. I have a couple campaigns. Oh, well, thank you, Estefan. I appreciate it. Hi to you too, my friend. And if you're on Twitter, you might see that every once in a while I'll roll out a communication accelerator ad on Twitter. And of course, if you listen to our podcast, you're going to hear a pitch on the podcast. Now, what does all this have to do? Well, we are talking about self-development, and we are talking about certain issues that are involved in self-development, which would be accountability. Our friends are not interested in it. We might feel that we're on our own in our journey to self-actualize. All of those problems and issues are exploited naturally in the content. Why? Because they make interesting drama, interesting conversation. So we have a natural boogeyman, so to speak, ourselves or technology or our friends. And then we talk about what the solution to that is. The advertising itself is natural to the conversation. Why? Because the human nature in how we learn is told through stories. So in your whatever ecosystem you're in, you're going to be told a story to teach you a lesson, to captivate you, to influence you into taking action into yourself or with friends or a commitment into an idea, candidate, or product. So all of these things play a role. So you are captured in that ecosystem. Now, here's something else that I want you guys to understand how this works. And this is also important. There is extensive research done on the avatar. Jennifer says the best storytellers win. Yes, they do. That's why everybody should learn storytelling. So there's also extensive research and information that is captured as you enter into an ecosphere. The time that you spend on an article or on Instagram, this is all captured and it builds an avatar. The avatar is information that tells me who you are. And if I understand who you are and points to your personality, such as pain points, things that you're interested in, other ecospheres that you have joined, it makes it easier then for me to market to you. Why? Because now I've captured who you are as a person. And remember, I'm not selling to you directly. I'm selling to the avatar, which means, once again, laws of averages. You see how this is working, guys? Does this make sense to you? Give me hearts that tell me that what I'm speaking to you is resonating with you and you understand. Jennifer says her avatar is super feisty from the last 3 weeks. Yes, absolutely. So we learn about you, right? And good marketers, and we're working with a marketing company now who's building out some new ecosphere pieces. One of the things they've asked for is they had asked, have you guys ever did an avatar composite of your audience? Well, absolutely. Yes, we have. In fact, we hired a company to do that. We spent a lot of money on that. And we do know a lot about who watches this show and enters our ecosphere. This makes it easier to not only to sell to you, but it makes it easier for me as somebody who is giving you content to put together content that I think would interest you. Now, I do so much on this daily show that I usually try to find things that I'm really excited about talking or that is pertinent to what is going on. As a lot of you guys know, I'm a very excitable person. I have tons of energy. And so I get wrapped up into things. And I have to express how I feel about them or I go nuts. So that's part of what this is all about. However, I always look for angles that I feel that would be entertaining to what is going on in the world and for our development as human beings to be the best that we can be. So once again, that avatar comes into play. So let me look at my war board over here. I put a bunch of notes today because I wanted to make sure I hit all these. So now I have you are in an ecosphere that is designed and built to be interesting and compelling to a certain avatar, a certain person that we are marketing to. And this is not that we're controlling the people who are coming in. We're getting information of the people that are coming in and find out. We survey the podcast audience. We talk to you guys. You guys write in. We read every comment, every letter, every message. This is all very important. So now that you're in the ecosystem and we know who you are as a person using law of averages, we are then working through common issues that we find that would help you, so that if I go live and I help you out with an issue or a problem through a story or through a lecture component from our classrooms, well, how does that allow you to feel about our company that just gave you a new perspective and an idea that you implemented into your life that makes your life infinitely better? I can tell you many times when those things have worked for me and my life has infinitely gotten better. How many of you guys have taken a bit off this show and learned something or it changed your life? I could mention people like Gary Vee that I've taken an idea off, or Sam Harris that I had taken an idea off, or an idea that I heard on Joe Rogan or David Goggins, or many of the people who are of ecospheres that I belong to. So because we're spending more and more time on these devices, it is very important to understand the ecospheres that you are involved in and its influence around you. That's why I choose with my free will to enter into ecospheres that I feel will help me advance me. Remember, I've talked about this before. I want an ROI, return on investment, for my time. That's why I quit watching television. I don't even own a television. That's why pop culture doesn't work for me anymore, because I've heard all the plots. I've seen all the storylines, and it's empty calories for me. I want to be moved emotionally. I want to be moved emotionally to the point where it moves me to create. It's thought-provoking. It makes me resonate with ideas. Now, if you think now, after hearing all that your ecospheres or your avatar isn't being exploited because maybe the ecospheres that you're involved in seem on face value that they're promising, or they're promising of delivering an ROI, which is great. But you're also susceptible to the ecospheres that your friends belong to. That's the problem with social media. So if Animal over here belongs to an unhealthy, toxic, upsetting ecosphere, because that might be the mood he's in or whatever, and he publishes an article or a podcast or an idea that he had gotten from that ecosphere on the Facebook, and then I see it, and then I emotionally get charged, and I click on it, well then, now I am being influenced and exposed to ideas that would be the antithesis of the ideas that I'm exposing myself to. This is why it's so important. So there is a lot of news media companies and ideas that I deem anti-life, meaning that they're hindrance of a good life, where you want worldviews and filters to open up possibilities for you rather than shutting down possibilities for you. And so I know what to look for because I've done the research and looking at the worldview that they are promoting, what they are advertising. And so if it doesn't add to a worldview that I deem as productive, as thought-provoking, awe-inspiring, well, then it's not good. Let me just give you one, right? Why does everyone bag on CNN? Because the ideas and articles and it is not a lot of their stuff is divisive and inflaming, and I've been bagging on the media on this show for 50 episodes. And they're not the only one. There's lots. So the free will versus determinism argument, where do I lie? Well, as I said, we have free will, but only up to a degree. You are putting yourself in front of influence and persuasion all the time. So ecospheres and avatars are something that you should understand. Now, here's the last point that I am going to leave you guys with, and I hope this was informative. The last point is, think about Facebook, Instagram. I'm talking to you guys on Instagram right now, Twitter. Do you not think that they're gathering information and selling it to advertisers? I mean, didn't we already see that was a thing? Do we need to argue about that anymore? We're all clear on that. We know that is fact, right? Is there anyone who's still la? Is there anyone who's still trying to hide from the truth? From that fact? You know, it's just how the internet works. We're able to collect data. So this is why this was important, because if companies are able to buy this data, they're able to manipulate it for their own gains using the law of averages. Do you see how much money is involved here, guys? So more importantly, this is why I wanted to have this discussion this week. Tomorrow we'll go into another part. Tomorrow we'll look at testimonials and storylines so I can show you the psychology behind them. So today was about the ecospheres and avatars, because there's billions upon billions of dollars involved in having that information, guys. Remember, the Art of Charm paid a pretty penny for somebody to come in and do an avatar of you guys so that we would understand who was coming in to our ecosphere. And I want you to understand, when you belong to an ecosphere, so that you have the choice and understand that you are being influenced and marketed to, and that's also trying to create a worldview for you to buy into. Because if you buy into a worldview, then I have anecdotes. I'm sorry, antidotes. I have antidotes for the problems and issues of the worldview that you adopted. You see how that works? You, so, so I want you to be aware of that. And if I can get you to buy into a worldview that is problematic, and then I have the antidote to sell you, well, I can make a lot of money. Or I can push somebody in front of you who can solve your problems. Or I can give you a product that would relieve you of any sort of anxiety. That's marketing. That's so avatars and ecosystems important. And I want you guys to know that when you click into an ecosphere, what you're subjecting yourself to, so that you have the choice of whether or not to give them your time, your dollar, and your attention, because they're paying a lot of money for all of those things, attention and money, right? We've walked into what everyone calls the attention economy, because if I can get your attention, I'll eventually get your dollar. See how that works? And the longer that I have your attention, the more opportunity I have to influence your worldview. And the longer and the more capable I am of influencing your worldview, the easier it is for me to sell a product that is an antidote to your problematic issues in the worldview. So I think I painted that picture pretty well. Any questions, guys? And thank you all very much for being here today. You guys are so awesome. And if you liked what I had to say and you want to learn more and you want to talk to me outside of this in a more frank format and place, shoot me a message or check out the Art of Charm Communication Accelerator. It is all our bits from our online classes and in-person training programs and expert guests from over the last 14 years about influence, persuasion, marketing, networking, and communication and connection. It is the best. So check it out, pick it up, and then let's talk about some of the ideas and concepts in it. Why? Because I care about you guys and I want you guys to be awesome and build awesome lives. I want you to build a life worth fighting for, because that's what life's about. And if you get into the journey of building a life worth fighting for, you will find every day fulfilling. And if you find every day fulfilling, you're going to be an amazing person and you're going to make the world a better place. And that's, my friends, is what this is all about. Isn't it, Animal? Yes, that's what it is all about. Oh my God. So, RC, thank you for the hearts, my friend. If you enjoyed today, guys, give me some hearts. I'll go through the comments. I'll be here tomorrow, and let's do another piece of marketing, shall we? Let's have some fun. And if you have questions, comments, suggestions, topics, shoot me a message, guys. Rachel Mona says, preach. Well, thank you, Rachel Mona. Shoot those hearts to me, an Animal, because that's what makes us happy. Martina's given us the hearts. Thank you very much. Hey, Diana, I hope you're doing well out there in Montana. Woody Belford, my friend, I hope you're doing quite well. Charlie, thank you for joining us a little bit late. You know that your fans were looking for you. They noticed you weren't here today, Charlie, and I appreciate you every day. You got 5 minutes before class. Just wanted to say hi. Well, thank you very much, Estefan. I got to roll. Oops. All right, guys. I got to roll to my other group for the Art of Charm Network and chat with those guys. If you're interested in that, you can find the link. It's in the link tree in the accelerator, but also shoot me a message or go to theartofcharm.com/network. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 8:30 You all rule. Yes, there's our hearts. Thank you, guys.